Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Young adults may often have mild or even no symptoms. They won't even know they're sick. They won't have any idea that they have a virus. They won't have any idea at all. America's youth will act responsibly, and we're asking everybody that when you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask, get a mask. Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact, they'll have an effect, and we need everything we can get.
Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. This speech would have been helpful February 22nd, 2020, because I knew the extent that I knew where this was going. I started quarantining on February 27th, 2020, and the president of the United States is just now today, July, asking people to wear masks. The irony of this moment is, so yeah, good. Finally, and maybe some people will listen. And I think there are some Republicans who are like, okay, we will, sure, he looks great in a mask. You know, you saw a whole bunch of tweets when he's finally started wearing a mask. They're like, oh, Joe Biden is in trouble. He looks so cool in a mask. Donald Trump looks killing that mask game. You know, all that kind of foolishness. So some people will begin wearing masks, and the simple fact that he's asking for people to do it will literally save lives, right? Because of the significant reach of the office of the presidency. He's reaching hundreds of millions of people. And so somebody will listen and some lives will be saved. So better late than never. However, the irony of the moment is that so many people have become entrenched in their intransigent is probably the better word, in their opposition to wearing masks. The absurdity of this, right? And we've gotten to the fever pitch of stupidity in this country that now people are turning on Donald Trump. Softly. It's a soft turning on Donald Trump because he's not mandating that they wear masks, but he's been asking them to wear masks, and he's trying to tread that needle very carefully because he understands the irate nature of his supporters who have made the opposition to wearing masks their raison d'etre. The very purpose in life is to oppose wearing masks. And he understands that fever pitch well enough to never mandate wearing masks. And so people are replying to him on Twitter saying, we love you, President Trump. You're the greatest president ever, but we're not wearing masks. This is the point that I have been making for some time on the show. It's not that this ridiculousness and absurdity is only from the top down. It came from the top down. The weaponized ignorance, the intentional obtuseness, the propaganda, the feigning of oppression, all of the games that powerful people play to maintain power, they played them for years. I mean, they have been doing it, even starting with the Southern strategy and the dog whistles. They have been feeding their base a level of ignorance that has been necessary for them to maintain political and economic power. But as I talked about on the show, it has gotten to a point in this country where it's no longer being developed from the top and poured down to the useful idiots of the conservative movement. It is now being fomented from the bottom, and it is being fomented from the bottom so much so that the people in power know they cannot cross a certain line. And the line that they cannot cross without losing the support of their supporters. I know I started that as if there's going to be another part to that sentence, but let me stop. There's a line that they cannot cross without losing their supporters. That line has now been moved to the outer edges of American ignorance and arrogance. That line has been moved not to economic policy, not to social policy, it has been moved so far to the outer realms of American ignorance that line that Donald Trump cannot cross is requiring people to wear a mask in a damn pandemic. I don't know if I set that up properly, so let me see if I can communicate it. I really want this to resonate with you. The games that the powerful in this country have been playing in order to maintain their political and economic power have included just pure ignorance, pure propaganda, pure stupidity. Just obscenely absurd ridiculousness. Okay. All the way to the point where now it has become a part of the conservative consciousness. The conscience of a conservative, if I were to take that from Barry Goldwater, is no longer centered around policies that we can argue against and actually have some meaningful debates around. Like even using that phrase, conscience of a conservative, there are things in that book that I think are absurd. But still, there were things that we could sit down and come and reason together. And if we reason together in good faith, my side would win because we have the better argument. But that's besides the point. The conscience of a conservative today, their whole entire reason for being for so many conservatives around this country, so much so that Donald Trump himself cannot tell them otherwise, is whether or not they're going to wear a goddamn mask during a damn pandemic. I'm laughing because they are so utterly stupid. They are so ridiculous. They don't even see themselves. It's like a person listening to a recording of their voice for the first time and they're like, I can't possibly sound like this. You just don't hear yourself. You do sound like this. And these conservatives do look as stupid as they actually are. They have no idea how history is going to look back at this moment. And I'm laughing for not crying because other people are going to die because of their stupidity. You understand? Like, I have to laugh because it's enraging. If we don't laugh at this, I'm liable to catch a charge. Because they are every time I see a person not wearing a mask, I feel like you disregard my safety and my life so much so that I feel like I need to defend myself. Now, right now, I'm defending myself by not going out in public and even being around you, right? But I take it is offensive to me that you put your deranged obsession with not wearing a mask over the safety and the lives of so many people. I don't see this as, and I know they don't care, but I just want to make sure it's crystal clear in everyone else's eyes. When a person is not wearing a mask, they think they're making a patriotic political statement. What they're actually doing is saying, I don't care if you live or die. And my natural inclination is to return in kind. But I'm at home. I'm safe. So I don't have to worry about going to jail dealing with these morons. There are so many people whose lives are at risk because they have made this commitment to a level of stupidity that they can't even see themselves. In fact, not only can they not see themselves, they think that this is their moment. This is their great cause. This is their great fight for justice. This is not only analogous to, but they equate it as something even greater than our fight against police murder of Black lives. And they really believe, and so much so that Donald Trump himself, no matter how many times he wears a mask, no matter how many times he asks them politely, if he ever crossed the line and gave a mandate, Republicans understand the monster that they have created. The monster that the Republican and the Republican Party and the ruling elite have created in this country is so far out of their control that there is not a single Republican politician, there's not a single politician, period, who can corral the madness that has become the conservative consciousness, the modern conservative consciousness. There's nobody. These people would turn on Donald Trump the minute he requires and makes a mandate for a mask. That's why he'll never do it. He would rather risk. That's why Georgia's governor, Brian Kemp, he would never do it because he understands they have created a monster that will destroy them. And so the ramifications of this is that we are left in a pandemic that is, I think 1,000 people died yesterday, right? We have, 50,000 new cases every single day. We're stuck in the middle of a pandemic that did not have to be this bad, where tens of thousands of people did not have to die, where we are going to be in this social distancing phase in earnest for at least another 18 months. we are stuck in this condition because of the absurdity of our political system, best demonstrated by the Republicans' use of ridiculousness, of weaponized ignorance, of propaganda, of just pure stupidity, the politics of stupidity. They've used that for so long that now they've created a monster that they themselves cannot control. And we're left in the middle of a pandemic where people are more willing to kill others because they won't wear a mask, because to them, not wearing a mask is the most patriotic thing and the most righteous thing that they could possibly fight for in this moment, and not knowing the whole time they're looking like a bunch of fucking morons for which we collectively are having to pay the price for their stupidity. All right. So there's a lot. I've got to tackle two things that are connected. Two things that are connected, but they are complex. They're two separate complex things. The first thing is I got to tackle divisions in every community that are going to be calcified. That's one side. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about after the break is opportunities for solidarity across communities that you didn't expect. I'm not talking about a left, right, brown, red alliance. No, F those chuds. I'm talking about something else, and I'll get to it in a second. But I this is my third try on this, so I'm going to try to get it right here. There's a thinking that is pervasive in 2020 social media, and you cannot dismiss this thinking because it's in social media, but because of how ubiquitous social media is. Like, social media is life. I don't care what anybody says. What happens on Twitter, what happens on Instagram, what happens on Facebook is probably the greatest expression of people's lives right now because they're all inside. Okay. So you got to take what happens on social media extremely seriously. There is a division in thought with regard to our American propaganda and our programming more specifically. Let me start here. Every single one of you listening to me right now, you have been programmed by this country. I have been programmed by this country. We have been programmed to believe that this country is inherently noble, that this country is inherently just. We have been programmed to believe that America is great and that America has no sins. We even were programmed to believe that America did not lose a war, never lost a war. Vietnam would like to have a word with you about that. But our programming is so deep that we believe the myth of America to the extent that it takes years of deprogramming for us to get past the bullshit propaganda that we have been fed ever since we were old enough to understand. Ever since we were old enough to come, it started before kindergarten. All right, so I need to create that baseline. Every single one of us have dealt with a significant level of programming and propagandization in this country that requires active work to undo. Not only in regards to America, the beautiful and the patriotic, but also with regard to capitalism and regard to consumerism and with regard to our perspectives of labor and our perspective of workers and the working class and consumerism. I don't even know if I said consumerism yet, but that might be one of the biggest. What I'm starting to see, and I'm really happy about it, disappointed in one way, but happy in another way, is that people are, there's a line that's being drawn in the sand with regard to your programming about capitalism and consumerism in America. Like, what I mean specifically is you either understand that there's something wrong with everything that you've been taught. You may not know based on complex theory. You may not have read this theorist, this author, this academic. You may not know any of that, but intuitively, you know that there is something intrinsically wrong, inherently wrong, is what I want to say, with this country with regard to how it treats the majority of the people who work, who actually use their labor to live. And what you have to do is to constantly reject. What you're finding yourself doing is the same thing that I have had to do and I continuously do, is rejecting the programming that tells me that I need to be an ultra consumer and give this system every single penny I have. And I have to have the aspirations that this, more importantly, not just consumption, but the aspirations that this system tells us that we should want. Like the dreams that we dream are rooted in what capitalism tells you is acceptable and noble and worthwhile and desirable more than anything else. Most of us in this country grew up dreaming about becoming something that capitalism told us was desirable. In any career, in any interpretation of desire, in terms of how much money you make, how much you should weigh, what type of woman you should want, what type of man you should want. All these things have been things that we've been programmed by. And what I'm seeing is, and I think it's because of COVID-19 exposing America in this fashion on a scale that's never been exposed, not to the masses. Like the masses right now, you can effing clearly see that there's something fundamentally wrong with this country. Or you could still be on the other side of the fence, being embracing the propaganda, embracing the lies, still thinking that America is noble. But by the way, not only do you think America is noble, or even if you reject the idea that America is noble, good, but you still believe in the American capitalistic dream, right? You reject America and you feel like you're woke because you reject America, but you still embrace the capitalistic lies that have been told to you, all the way to the extent where the division is clear. You either look at this system and blame the powerful, or you blame the powerless. You either look at this country and realize that what's wrong in this country is that the powerful have been manipulating us, exploiting us. I mean, extracting trillions in profits at the expense of our lives. You either look at the system and look up and look at the rulers of the system as the problem, or you look down and say, you know who the problem is? The people who are getting $600 a week unemployment. The disregard for the lives of servers, of people who are out here as essential workers, putting their lives on the line, and you dismiss their safety. You dismiss their well-being. You dismiss the fact that they are out there having to do this. I mean, it really boils down to a real simple analysis. Are you blaming the powerful, or are you blaming the powerless? And what's fascinating about this moment is that division breaks through, that division, that analysis. Who do you blame, the powerful or the powerless? That cuts through every demographic. That cuts through every identity. That cuts through every income bracket. You either look at the problems in our society and you look at the people with the power, or you blame the powerless. And the irony of this is that people who don't understand fully how powerless they are, how much their little income really isn't that much. Okay, you make $250,000 a year. You mean shit to a billionaire. You literally are a bug that they will step on and crush in order to, they would take your whole $250,000 a year and blink and be like, I didn't even feel that. They will absorb your $250,000 a year, your $400,000 a year, and be like, I barely even noticed that. So the irony of this moment where we're getting it's becoming crystallized, crystal clear, who we are pointing our energy and our rage towards, either the powerful or the powerless. And the funny thing, I just want to double down on that. The funny thing about it is that, you have people who continue to buy into this American propaganda about the success of hard work. And all you got to do is make these investments. And all you got to do is, you shouldn't be a minimum wage worker. That's your fault that you're a minimum wage worker. I'm making $25 an hour, so I got that. I secured that bag. Just think about all the different ways you see this manifest on social media, right? People who have nothing, who are so committed to this propaganda that they put on a facade that they actually have something. And it's so much more important to them to protect the image that they have something in a society, when the people who have the power have taken every opportunity for them to actually get ahead. Let me make it plain. Your desire to look and to live like the rich people in this country is absolutely one of the number one ways where they get all of your wealth. They extract all of your labor because you're working hard so that you can get that image. They extract your consumption because you got to spend money to get that image. They extract even your dreams, because the dreams that you have been based on what they told you to dream. They have drained you for everything, and here you are defending them at the expense of the powerless. At the expense of the solidarity that you should have with people in your same estate. But you don't see yourself as one of us. You see yourself as someone who's going to go on your best friend's yacht this weekend and take some really cool pictures for Instagram so that you can make it look like you got that life. When at the end of the day, you have given every single thing you have, from your labor to your consumption, to your time, to your effort, to your very dreams. You have given it to a system that don't give a damn about you. And here you are defending the powerful. Here you are defending this system. Now, the real reason I want to talk about this is because that simple analysis, who do you blame? The powerful or the powerless? Who do you blame for the problems in our society? The problems in our society. I'm not talking about who do you blame for whatever. I'm talking about very specifically the problems that we have in our society. Do you blame the powerful or the powerless? And that division cuts through every single demographic. And so what you're going to find on both sides of this conflict is a very diverse group. You're going to have a diverse group of bootlickers. You're going to have a diverse group of people who fancy themselves that they're going to be a billionaire one day, when in reality, their pursuit to become a billionaire is nothing more than a wealth suck. It is they have been trapped in a system that's designed for them to buy books about growing their wealth and go to this seminar and learn, and then you're just turning over your money to the system. But that's okay. You know, they still want to, they still think they're going to do it. They still think that they're going to be a billionaire. And that group is a very diverse group of people that's inclusive of some black folks, some of my people. Perhaps some of the most deluded people about this are people who are just getting to the opportunity to actually pursue the American dream. Maybe it's because we were not permitted the opportunity to pursue the American dream, and we're just now getting a chance to see some black billionaires. And now folks are like, the radical thing to do as a black person, the best thing that you could do radical is to invest into some stocks and some bonds, right? Not realizing that they have become the useful idiots for a capitalistic system that is going to drain them dry. And if somebody makes it out, it's going to be 1 out of 1,000,000. The odds of you becoming a billionaire is like the odds of you making it to the NFL and the NBA. But here you are defending billionaires. So the point is this: there's going to be diversity on the opposite side. Our political and economic rivals, the people who are hindering us, it's not only going to be diverse in terms of race, it's going to be diverse in terms of class, because there's going to be plenty of bootlickers, plenty of useful idiots who continue to serve this system because of the allure of the system, because of the allure of fame, the allure of fortune, the allure of them being a billionaire or a millionaire riding on their yacht. They just, that is the dream that they have been given, and they don't ever want to relinquish it. They don't ever want to take a minute to sit down and realize that structurally, chances are they're going to be working at Walmart when they're 70. Not because of any moral inherent failing in their life, but because of how this system is structured. Because of how at every single point of your life, you are a prime candidate to be exploited. But they will defend this system. They will defend billionaires by blaming poor people. They will defend billionaires by blaming the essential workers or blaming the unemployed or blaming the people who make minimum wage. They will laugh to you to scorn because you're not living the lavish life that they're living on a rented boat that their cousin's business partner rented from his uncle. And they all took these glamorous pictures. And that's cool, man. If you just were having a great time, that's cool. But when that translates into you protecting a system that absolutely devastates billions of people across this globe, right? When your participation in this system translates to you defending that system, then you're not our comrade. You're not our ally. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what you believe. I don't care I don't care. You could be LGBTQ. You could be black. You could be trans. I don't care who you are. If you defend this system at the expense of the people who are oppressed by this system, you are our rival. You are our enemy. I don't care if you're poor. If you are a poor person and you defend this system at the expense of other poor people, you're just a useful idiot, but you're still our enemy. You are the ones who are blocking us from getting the solidarity across classes, across races that's necessary for us to take on the powerful. Because how can you look at this power system? How can you look at this society? How can you look at this society with billionaires, with a man who made $13 billion in a single day and not understand that the problems of our society are rooted in the powerful and not the powerless? How can you fix your mouth to blame the powerless and do so because you wanted to look good for the gram? Let me tell you something, man. Idolatry. The fact that they have so many billions of people across the globe desiring a certain lifestyle that is put up to them to admire and to idolize. Idolatry is the opiate of capitalism. Idolatry is the opiate of capitalism. Okay, I'll give you the second half of this when we come back after this patron party.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and get twice the content and unfiltered interviews without any of the commercial interruptions.
And here we go. At this point in every single episode, I'd like to take a minute to thank the people who make the show possible, our patrons. Very special welcome to XOD. Thank you for becoming a patron. Very special welcome to Is That Sarah S? Thank you for becoming a patron. Brendan Jones, thank you for becoming a patron. Sharon Second, thank you for becoming a patron. Now, everybody just bop, yo. Very special welcome to Kit W. Thank you for becoming a patron. Gregory Christopher Rao, thank you for becoming a patron. Alana Newman, thank you for becoming a patron. You too can become a part of this prestigious and prodigious patron family by going to patreon.com/The BPD Show, where you get twice the content, none of the commercial interruptions, and you give me the ability to speak power to the powerless, whether the powerful like it or not.
Welcome back to The Benjamin Dixon Show.
Yeah.
Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Yep. All right. Okay. Let me finish this up. I don't have much time. The last part took a little time to unpack, but I think I asked you to give me a little second. So the bottom line is this: who do you blame? Who do you blame the problems of society on? Right? The powerful or the powerless? That simple question, that simple analysis, whether people are instinctively going to say they blame the powerful, but in their actions, in their deeds, in their words, and what they really believe, there's a lot of people who you're going to be surprised who blame the powerless, and that divides us up. That's where we draw the line, right? You're going to have a lot of black folks, a lot of Hispanic people, a Latinx. You're going to have a lot of people of all identities who are going to be on the opposite side of our fight because they don't even realize it. And maybe we can convince them, maybe we can convert them, but I don't know. The fact of the matter is the reason they protect the powerful is because one day they think they will be powerful. The reason they are going to continue to protect billionaires is because one day they think they could become a billionaire. They'll continue to protect the rich and famous and the superstars because they believe that that's what they're going to get one day. And it's mainly rooted in the fact that they just idolize that type of lifestyle. Again, idolatry is the opiate of capitalism. All right. Now, the other side of the coin is there are going to be a lot of people on our side of the equation that we didn't expect. And I think the best way to analyze this or to view this would be in Portland, where you have a lot of soccer moms and soccer dads, a lot of white liberals, neoliberals who are out there having their first full-on confrontation with the police, with policing authorities, whether they be federal, state, or local police. And I don't know if you've ever been in a protest of that magnitude. I have personally been in confrontations with police officers, and I could just tell you it is a life-changing experience that I don't care if they went out there thinking the only thing that they're protesting is Donald Trump. What they are experiencing is a radicalizing moment. All we have to do is help them to connect the dots between the fact that they're not just fighting Donald Trump. They are fighting against a system in this country that transcends every single presidency. And if we can't, and when I say we, I mean those of us who know that this is not just Donald Trump. This is not to dismiss Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a unique threat, but this goes far beyond Donald Trump because the authorization that these agencies are using in Portland were signed into law by Barack Obama. Now, those of us who know that, if we are not doing our part to help bring them along, bring them into this coalition, into this solidarity with us, using compassion, empathy, and love, and not just attacking them because they are neoliberals and they are wine moms, if we're not doing that, then we have become the problem to solidarity. Because I'm telling you, what they are going through in Portland, which is going to be replicated across this country as the more cities that Donald Trump put these stormtroopers in, it is a radicalization moment if we help them seize upon it. And we will have solidarity with people who cross income brackets, who cross political ideology. They will learn. They will see that the root of our problems go much further than just Donald Trump. But if we don't seize upon it, then we have wasted an opportunity. That's my music patrons. I got a whole lot more to talk about, as you can tell. I'll see you there. Patreon.com/The BPD Show. Everybody else, I'll see you tomorrow.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.